Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dad Bods and Beards. We are here on the same spot we were at the Zachary Levi show, but we are sitting in Josh Altman's office. Thank you so much for letting us use this.
Of course, anything for you guys.
This is awesome. So today's gonna be a little bit of a quicker episode, but we are gonna talk same thing. We're gonna get a little bit deep, a little bit quick, and just talk about Josh and your experience and just kind of where you got today.
Yeah. So I've been working on the beard part.
Yeah, it's
The
you're
dad
getting
bod
there.
was already there.
Yeah.
So
I like it.
It works. Got great beard genetics. So we always tell everybody the best way to grow your beard, and like everyone's like, oh, how do I grow my beard better? Like, you just throw away your razor. That's the best way.
So I'm going to be sending you some product.
Okay, cool.
So I need to get your.
My wife's like, it's time to shave. So
What will happen is you're going to be putting product on it. You're going to smell good. It's going to be soft, and she's like, "You're going to keep it now."
Yeah. And then but on top of all that, we also got Shawn Finnegan. You guys have seen him from past episodes, and Shawn has become a vital part to Dad Bods and Beards in our future. So
Shawn
Guest
and I
interviewer.
go back
Yeah,
almost a decade.
yeah, we do.
everybody knows Shawn, and Shawn knows everybody.
everyone.
He'd be a great real estate guy.
Dude, put me in, coach. I'm ready, dude. I'm here.
He'd crush it. You
Let's
always
go to
have
work.
a gig at the Altman
Yeah,
Brothers.
dude, I need to be mentored by you. Well, dude, it's an honor to be with you, Josh. We do go way back. I love this guy. And you've seen Josh, best-selling author, Ready, Fire, Aim. He is the man. You got to look up, he was a former kicker in college. You got to look up what was the show?
Oh, it's so funny. People still talk to
Dude,
me
they
about
do.
that all the time.
I mean,
I
he
went
was
on
on
Dan Patrick's show.
Dan Patrick's
Oh,
show.
big fan of Dan, and he had me on, and he bet me that I couldn't still kick a football. I was a college football kicker at Syracuse, but I was a backup kicker in 97 to 99. But I could whale the ball, like rocket 50s, 55s. Anyways, I haven't touched a football since then. So 20 years later, because this was 5 years ago, Dan's like, I bet you, I'll give you one shot and I'll televise it. I bet you can't kick a 45-yard field goal. And I nailed it. I nailed
Right
it.
down the middle.
But to this day, all the wives roll up to me and go, hey, love $1 Million Listing. The guys go, saw you on Dan Patrick.
Yeah. You're like that kick, man.
Yeah.
You're like,
What's the end of that story, too, after you kicked?
I nailed it. I pulled 3 muscles, and
Dude, I saw the video. He wailed on that ball. I mean, he crushed it. But he did pull some stuff.
I mean, you Google it, you check it out. But, I'm 45 now. It doesn't work. Nothing works as well as it used to.
So I think the first question is, a lot of people see you on $1 Million Listing, the TV show. Yeah. It's all glitz and glamour, everything else, and they might look at Josh and say, hey, Josh has just been crushing his whole life. But I know some of the backstories, so we'd like to hear some of those early stages, kind of what you went through.
Yeah, you know
Yes,
the whole
I know.
story.
I know the story.
Because it's like if you drew a graph of it, it would be, the bottom, the hike up the mountain, the fall, and then the hike back up is really kind of my story that people have heard out there, because I talk about it a lot when I do speaking engagements. But look, I came out from Boston, didn't know anybody. I'm going to give you the quick version, right? Yeah. And moved out to LA. I was interning in an entertainment company, delivering mail for free. It was an internship, delivering mail to all the successful agents, talent agents, not real estate agents now, because that's what I am, but the successful talent agents, delivering their mail in the company. And I would always go around, and I was obsessed with mentors and surrounding myself with positive people. And so every time I saved a little money, I would ask one of them out to lunch and try to, pick their brain. And so I was always obsessed with having mentors in my life, surrounding myself with successful people. I always felt that if you rolled around with successful people, you too at some point will rise to the top and become successful too. So I would take these agents out to lunch. I'd beg them to have lunch with me, and I would pick their brain. And it was funny because the common denominator at the time was they were all successful talent agents, but they all made money in real estate on the side.
oh, okay.
So, you get some money. What do you do? What do you invest in? The first thing you invest in, well, maybe a car, maybe a watch, but the real stuff you invest in is a house, is housing. And so they were all talking about real estate, and I was like, wow, I think I'm in the wrong business. And so basically, my night job, I saved up all the money that I could for the first year. I had $5,000 to my name. My brother had $5,000 to his name. We put it together. So we took that $10,000 and we bought our first place. And it was $390,000. And every time we made a paycheck over the next 3 months, we would do something different to the condo. Market was going up. 3 months later, we sold it for $600,000.
Wow.
Yeah, so we made 410 grand. I'm sorry, made 210 grand on the place. And yeah, at that point, that was
It would have taken a lot of years in the mailroom to make that kind of money.
You know, I was working at a gym as a night job. It was a whole thing. But look, at the end of the day, that was more money than we had ever made up to that point. Realized we were in the right business now, which was real estate. And we took that money. It was funny because first thing I did, I didn't have a car at the time. So I went and got a car. And then I drove to my job in the mailroom and quit. And then, I took
First item of business.
That's it. And so, and then ended up taking the remainder of that money. My brother and I reinvested it in the next place, bought it for like 700 grand, and then resold it 6 months later for 900 grand. Started rolling like that. That's how I got into the flipping side of things. Then, looking at any business model, I looked where my money was going, and it was going to mortgage brokers and realtors every time we bought and sold houses.
Yeah.
So I went out, got my license after the third time because I failed the first 2 times. And then I became a mortgage broker. And, fast forward a few years, we kept enrolling into it. I was a millionaire at 26. And then the economy collapsed in 2007 and lost everything. So it's funny because it's one thing to not have money. It's another thing to have money and then not have money again because you're like, damn, that was nice. So
you had a palace that you'd basically bought, right? So
I'm trying to go through the story quick, but my brother and I, what happened was we kept on flipping properties, and we took the last property we bought. We took all of our profits. And we bought a castle in the Hollywood Hills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Like
and
a
we
legit
bought the
castle.
Huh?
Like a real looking.
It had turrets and everything. That's what. Seriously, it was so ridiculous. And the reason we bought it was because it had 2 master bedrooms. So my brother and I wouldn't fight who got the better bedroom.
Sure.
And so we bought it, and then literally it was like take all our money, buy the castle, and it could have been like 38 days later. The economy collapses.
No way.
So we had spent, I don't think it's so long ago. It was like $3-something million on the castle. We're like, okay, not a big deal. We'll just resell it and we'll make a couple bucks because we always made a couple bucks on every house we did, and no one was buying because the economy collapsed. It was dead. And then we said, all right, we'll break even. A couple months go by, no one was buying. We're like, all right, now we'll lower it. We'll lose 200 grand. No one's buying. 400, no one. 800, $1 million. So the $1.5 million that we put down on that castle, by the time we sold the house, it was for $1.5 million less than what we bought it for.
Oh man, so it's gone.
So we had built our way up. We were on the top of the world. We thought we were, LA's biggest developer. Meanwhile, all we were doing was like changing light fixtures and painting with our football jerseys on.
Sure.
And then it all. So we lost everything. Ended up having all my cars and everything taken away and all that stuff. And I will tell you, looking back now, it was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to us, my brother and I, because thank God we didn't have kids at the time.
Yeah.
We didn't have anybody else to take care of because I know that a lot of people who were in that situation, it was just us and we could just live out of a suitcase on a friend's couch. But the learning experience was probably the most valuable thing I could have ever gone through. So to do that early in life was really important. And actually, still today, there's a lot of habits that I have because of that have happened to us, because it happened. So that's it.
It happened for you.
At the time.
So what advice would you have someone that's going through a hardship right now that they're like, they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, well, so you got to keep punching. I was lucky enough to have my brother at the time also, right next to me the whole time, which is why I always go back to the whole mentor thing. My brother and I, it was a tough time after that. I mean, for the next 6 months, I didn't get out of bed. I was depressed. I go to the gym every day, even though I have a dad bod.
Hey man, you're on the right show, man.
We do too. But we also eat a whole thing of pizza.
Well, isn't that why you go to the gym, right?
The whole thing is like, if that's a dad bod, then what are we? Right?
We are a sexy bod.
Yeah, sexy bod. That was my thing, to get me going every morning. You don't get out of bed, you stop working out, you get depressed, you do all that stuff. And so it was a downward spiral. And then the next couple things I started doing, everything was a fail. Not only was I broke, but I was negative because I had borrowed money from friends. we would do silly stuff trying to figure out how to get rich quick, because that was our mentality. And it was like, we drove by Christmas tree lot on Christmas, and I look at my brother, and I was, man, they must make a lot of money selling Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, well, what's the next holiday? And it was Valentine's Day. So I borrowed 20 grand from a friend, and we went and bought $20,000 worth of flowers. We got a pop-up shop. She's laughing. We got a pop-up shop right here on La Cienega and Melrose. And because I figured everyone pays more. I pay more for flowers. You pay 4 times more on Valentine's Day. We'll take that 20, we'll turn it into 80. We'll give him his 20 plus interest back, and we'll be good. And what I didn't do, which is important, which is another key to success, is always do market research and understanding what you're getting into. And apparently people are super loyal to their florists. They didn't come to us.
It'd have been nice for you to know that before, right?
And the other thing is never invest in anything that dies 72 hours later.
Oh, no.
So you're sitting on these massive amounts of
I'm
roses.
sitting on $20,000 worth of flowers that I bought at wholesale. I'm calling my friends because Valentine's Day is over. I was like, yo, my loss, your gain, come get flowers. And they would come over with their girls and their wives and grab all these flowers, and that was it. So now we're even more in debt. So anyway, long story short was we sat with somebody who was important to us because we were down and out and constantly losing. We were on a losing streak. And he looked at us and said, folks, you got to chill with the get rich quick thing. That's not how you live life.
Yeah.
It just never works that way. You got to figure out what it is that you love. And the one thing that we did love, because we flipped houses, we financed houses, was on Sundays, because we were broke, the only thing we did to keep busy, besides watch football, was to go to open houses. Because we felt when we walked through a nice house, it inspired us, it allowed us to dream.
That's my wife.
Well, there you go. Seriously.
She just wants the house.
But that's why people watch $1 Million Listing, because they come home after a long day, and no matter how their day is, they can check out and just kind of dream and see cool houses. It lit a fire in us where it kept us motivated, and we decided that, okay, we're going to become real estate agents because that's what we love to do. Because we're there every weekend anyways looking at houses. We love selling, and that was it. And we started from scratch again. It was me and my brother. We pounded the phones because that's all we knew how to do, was hit the phones and door knock and pound the pavement. And we got our first deal. I couldn't sell anything in the first 6 months. It's a tough business we're in. Yeah. And I finally closed my first deal. And I remember everything about that deal because I needed that commission like I needed, air at the time. And eventually it picked up. So we went from our first year, sold $4 million, then $12 million, and the next year was, 20, 80, 100, and now it's, it's built into this amazing business. I'm blessed to have my wife's our CEO, my brother's my business partner. We have LA, San Diego, Orange County, Scottsdale, and Vegas. And we've sold $4 million a day of real estate for the past 2,000 days. So we sell about $1.5 billion a year of real estate now.
Sorry, did you say $4 million a day?
A day, yeah.
So I'm in the wrong industry.
I think he's rethinking everything right now.
Stay in your lane. You're happy. Success comes with it. But people see the show and they're like, oh, he just sells the biggest houses. He's so lucky. But they have no idea
all the work you put
what we
into
went through. I was, all that.
How many
stuff.
hours do you think right from the get-go did you put in a day? For those
Outrageous.
6 months.
Like he wore out many pairs of shoes walking around, literally cold call.
Yeah, 25 hours a day.
Well, see, that's the thing that people...
I know that's not even possible, but that's what it is. And it's
legit. That's
yeah,
me right now.
Right, you know it. And that's the only way to do it.
Everyone says that kind of stuff, but then it's like, but the actual application of like wearing out the pair of shoes, like wearing out your phone, or like back in the old, actual like finger dial hard line, right? Versus, I mean, we hear this all the time, especially being younger entrepreneurs and like fresh in some of the stuff that we're doing, of kind of like, you gotta eat mud. You gotta get kicked in the teeth. And sometimes it's the biggest fail. I mean, that was one of the biggest talking points on our episode with you was just, I mean, that visual that you have of writing out those checks in that like super pivotal moment. So people see the Rolls Royce outside.
Yeah, they see
the
all
big
that
corner
stuff.
office. They see, but they don't see, the 20 years before this. They don't see the mail room. They don't see, like not having a car.
Well,
like
they don't
you said,
see the stress of taking $20,000 from your friend.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I have some investors now. and just like their money is sacred. And it stresses me. I'm like, okay, I gotta like quadruple this right now. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? And you just gotta be smart. And people don't understand. It's stress. Like bringing on people and having people help. Like it's stressful. And
because who do you go who believes in you the most? Your friends and family, right? So who do you go to? Because it's not easy to raise money. And so you won't.
You just ask Shawn. Shawn, who do you know?
Yeah, I know Josh.
It's good to know.
But like even today, with a lot of like we're involved in a lot of property technology, prop tech companies, and you know, I still today get hesitant, and we raise a lot of money for a lot of companies. That's that's kind of our thing, and I still feel funny calling friends. I was like, invest if you want to invest. If it doesn't work out, I'll pay you back. Like I just feel like, it's tough when you borrow from your friends and family. But sometimes that's your only option.
I had to borrow some money from my aunt. I love it. She's like my second mom. She's my kid's second grandma, like dead serious. And we're so close. I had to borrow a significant amount of money for her so that we could go into Amazon and I could fulfill the orders right at the very beginning, all this kind of stuff, and pay an agency to help me because I don't have a clue. I didn't have a clue. And holy crap, like it's just like.
And it goes quick.
Dude, like.
Yeah, the burn rate is and then it's a double-edged sword because you got to fulfill the orders and you got to pay for all that stuff, but you don't have the money to pay for all that stuff. But if you could pay for that, then you'd make more money. It's just like
like raw materials. I just like sounds insignificant. I get this, but like $15,000-$20,000 on raw materials right now, and then just to go over for Black Friday, which is today, and like I turned my phone off, so I have no idea what my sales are. I'm a little panicky, But it's the truth. Like no one understands that stuff.
So here's a closing question for you, Josh, because you're closer. But these two have a brand that they've built all based around mental health. So I love that you brought up the mental health piece because you went through that period of time, and that's really where these guys have focused on their brand is being willing to talk about that. It's not easy to say you actually went through something.
Well,
like
for
that.
a lot of years, it's funny you said that. A lot of years. So first of all, when you lose in business and your business fails, or you fail your friends and family, and you go into a downward spiral and you're mentally beat, number one, trying to get out of it is extremely difficult, and it's tough for you to end up seeing that other side of it. But also with that, it took me a long time to talk about it and admit it. So I used to be the guy when everything was good. You go to the clubs with your friends, you pay for everything. You're the fun guy, right? I was the guy with my friend. Like I was the guy everyone wants to hang with, and it's great. So when you don't have that anymore, you almost feel you feel embarrassed, right? You feel embarrassed. You lie to your friends, and you don't want to be looked at as a failure. And it's a slippery slope where you just continue downward. So for years, I didn't talk about being depressed after I lost everything. But when you're able to embrace it, and this is years later now, obviously, but when you're able to embrace it and look at it as mistakes are the greatest thing that can happen in business, right? Because those are going to be those learning experiences that you never forget. You only make a mistake once. You make a mistake twice, that's on you. But the first time, okay, it's a learning experience. So at some point, when you're able to step outside the box and look at it, not get angry at it, understand that it's there to help you and what you did wrong and why you did it wrong, and then move forward, then actually, at this point in my career, I love learning things. I love learning from people from businesses that I have nothing to do with or don't know anything about. Like I could sit with you and I'm more intrigued about your business about beards because I don't know anything about it. And I love learning about it and learning about how you got to where you are and all that. But yeah, once you start embracing it, it's a whole nother level.
Dude, that's great advice. And then the last wrap-up thing is the same thing. You heard us sitting here talking with Zachary Levi just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
We like to leave challenges with listeners. So we have a lot of guys that are like entrepreneurial, like they're coming out of the woodworks now, right? So going from the mailroom to the Rolls Royce parked outside, what's like
There's not really a Rolls, that's just we just talking about it.
Oh yeah.
No kidding.
I'm so excited to look inside it.
Yeah. So what's the last little nugget of just that grind, like that last little nugget of information?
And maybe a challenge you have for people.
A challenge I have for people. So look, success is a lot easier when you love what you do. I feel like, because I work with my wife and I work with my brother, I feel like I don't work. Yeah. I do what I love every day, and I'm so blessed, and I've gone through so many jobs coming up before I got to this gig. The second you love something, success is going to come. I guess my challenge for people is if you're not happy at your job, which a lot of people are. So there's two different things that happen. One, people are not happy at the job, and then the next generation don't even want to have a job. They just want free stuff and want to be successful without doing anything. I would challenge you to find in your life what you love to do. Sit back, really think about it, save as much money as you possibly can, and make that leap. I always say this, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Yeah. So you got to take the shot. If you're an entrepreneur and you're sitting there and you're at the job that pays for your company, your dream, and it's already been a year or 2 years and 3 years, and you keep talking about making that jump, but you still need that gig, because what's going to happen if you don't have that gig? And you just get comfortable, and the next thing you know, 5 years goes by, 7 years go by, and you never actually put 100% of your heart and soul
She's
in it.
talking to us.
Yeah, I know. Like,
you're not giving it a fair shot. So you got to do it.
What happens when you have several children and a wife that needs your support financially?
Yeah, so that's a whole different thing. But that's a great question. I think that sometimes the wife has to get involved. Like my wife got involved. And ever since she was involved, my company actually just continued to go up and up and up.
It's amazing.
You got to figure out, you got to step outside the box and figure out different things that you can do. But if you're staying at the gig to pay for the other gig, you got to put a time limit on it.
Appreciate that.
You got to put
really
time
good
limit on
advice.
dude, Josh, thank you. This
Thank
has
you,
been
man.
from letting us use the office to hanging out.
Here you go. Hey, I'm gonna follow you guys. I'm gonna do the beer thing.
Yeah.